Chapter 8, Episode 6. Kanji, Yakuya and Falma de Medicis. Falma, who had finished the secret conversation in the medicinal herb garden, invited Malene to the professor's office and recommended the sofa to her. I told my secretary Zoe to take it off today, so there are only two of us. Of course, I also told Emmerich not to come. Even when I told him not to come, he didn't accept it, so Falma is making arrangements to do the experiment on his behalf later. This is the professor's office. Have a seat. What are you drinking? A room in your villa? Water's fine. Malene touches the ornaments on the display shelf in the professor's room with a curious touch. This is my place of work. I work here. Didn't you say you also run a pharmacy? Isn't that too much work? The manager and the store owner. While interacting with Malene, learning the basic structure of her magic system and her social system stimulated Falma a lot, and it felt like his resolution of the world had suddenly improved. An idea resided in Falma's mind. Through Malene's hint, Falma gathers the power of people's faith and prayers and entrusts the power of divine arts and magic. The steward of this world, who becomes an existence comparable to the gravekeeper, overthrows the rule of the gravekeeper. And we will transform it into a world where people can live peacefully without using divine power or magic, which is the power that destroys the world. There will be many people who are not convinced, but I think the direction is right. I agree. The god of medicine must have seen a giant called Gravekeeper. Sorry, call me by my name. I'm restless. I can't say it well, but I'm nervous. I've officially stopped being a person in the Holy Land, but I want you to at least call me by my individual name. I feel mocked when I get a nickname I don't want. Malene shakes her head. The temple seems to call him the god of medicine. That's the kind of religion over there, so the circumstances are different. I've already given up. Understood. I'm proud to be called by a title, but you don't think about it. Then I'll call you by a personal name. Falma must have seen a titan, but what kind of guy was he? Thank you. Falma only saw the Tomb Guardian once. When the Imperial City was attacked by evil spirits. Dimensions? Malene, of course, is a term I don't know. I wonder what it is. I escaped where my cane can't reach. In other words, the Tomb Guardian is probably an existence of a higher dimension. Falma could not understand how these divine powers and magical powers that could not be explained on the earth where Falma lived, contributed to the preservation of this world. If you can't understand it, then science is about getting rid of your preconceived notions and starting with observations. I don't think breaking the law of conservation of energy would work. Why did you want to create a world similar to Earth? Ever since Falma had come to this world, he had wondered. The history of this world is short, and the Gravekeeper definitely created this world with reference to Earth history. Apart from divine power, magic power, and minor geographical differences, this world strongly resembles Earth's environment. I wonder what the Gravekeeper was trying to do. The farm god girl was not from Earth, but she came from a place very similar to Earth. However, Kukatani's classmate, physicist Nakajima, concluded that even if there were intelligent life forms in another universe, it would be impossible for them to follow a civilization similar to Earth. Then even Yakutani, who is not a physicist, came up with the following. Unlike Earth, this world is a world that copies Earth's civilization and runs it like a breeding game. There's no way that's going to work. From the point of view of molecular evolution, it will not be the same even if we copy Earth's civilization without the existence of Earth's history as a basis. Also, they forgot to copy fossil fuels and soil resources, and for some reason there is no Far East Asian continent. Volcanic activity is weak. If the initial values differ even slightly, the same result cannot be achieved. Even more, even if we rewind the history of the Earth completely, it does not necessarily follow the same history of biological evolution. Diverse specimens. Inexperienced management. Don't leave out 4.5 billion years. The four powers were determined during the creation time, and the ore distribution was also determined, so don't leave it out. Start again with the Big Bang. Also calculate the movement of the solar system as well as the impact of meteorites and copy it completely. Don't show originality by pretending to be an inexperienced person. Do not take seriously the concept of magic in fiction such as anime, manga, novels, movies, games, etc. As Yakuya watched the Gravekeeper play the earth-raising game, he felt like throwing those words off the page. To make up for the part that didn't go well, he probably tried his best to balance things with cheats like divine power and magic power. Well, it's overkill, but if you're going to do it right. I beg you. You hold the fate of the people of this world in your hands. The only thing that is clear is, the administrator of this world is too attached to this world even though he is not good at managing it. Falma tells Malin about a certain matter that will happen in a not-too-distant future. In the end, the Gravekeeper failed to manage this world. He hijacked an existence to fix the bankruptcy, made it a patron deity, and smashed it for the good of this world. Being kidnapped is not an easy thing. Moreover, Falma lamented that even if he were already dead, he could not overlook the fact that the space in which the Earth is located would be involved with collateral damage. Falma thought of a way to rebuild this world after its bankruptcy. 1. Create a world without demons. 2. Stop using divine power and magic power, and take consistency through physics. 3. Pull the hook equipment out of the parasitic world and make this world independent and stable. 4. A reliable administrator continues to monitor whether states 1 to 3 are being observed. Even if you thought of overthrowing the Tomb Keeper's rule, Falma, who was only human, would not be able to manage a single world. So entice or persuade the Tomb Guardian or intervene in the field of decision-making. Let's switch to a coherent natural law that allows us to stand on our own 2 feet without involving the rest of the world. With experience, I'm sure it will work. The bottom line is to keep it. I wish you could tell me honestly. I feel like there's another way. Malin makes a suggestion to Falma. Go to the other side of the world that is connected to the cog of the hammer that is not broken. Malin's idea was blown away. In other words, the world in which Kanji Yakuya existed. Earth. Japan. Tokyo. Malin says she will go there. It's too nostalgic a place name, but I can't remember the other side. He went into forbidden arts that hurt the memory, and created too many miraculous and divine medicines. As this is called an invasion of another world. This is really bad. It's turning into a B-grade panic movie. Isn't the world on the other side broken? I don't know, but it's probably not broken. I hope we don't invade. Just like you did on our continent. Even if you go unarmed, you're going to get beaten by people over there and called names by the people in power. When you overcome the root crushed by the gears of the hammer and open a passageway to another world, if you advance to the other world, it will lead to the laboratory where Kanji Yakuya was. The moment you leave the laboratory, you enter the Earth even if you didn't want to. From Earth's point of view, an alien invasion is not allowed under any circumstances. Who's going to get mad at you? The King of Men? NASA or something like that? Falma made a serious face. There is also a mechanism called SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Using radio telescopes to receive radio waves of extraterrestrial life and search for probes. If a person from another world were to come out of a laboratory at a certain university in Tokyo, all the people of Earth would come together and pursue a strategy of annihilation. It's not excitement that causes trouble. That's right, there are different things. I think it will be over after it is attacked normally and destroyed along with the gears of the hook. Falma came from the other side of the world, just like Harris. That's right. Tell me more about the world behind. Falma took out the PC that had been on the locked shelf in the professor's room, put it on the desk and opened it. PCs are invisible and inaccessible to people in this world, so theft is impossible. If it was a photograph of the Earth, I should have had a lot. You can transfer it to film and show it to Malin. If you can see it, but... NN. What is this box? As she said this, Malin ran her finger over the outline of the transparent laptop. Can you see the liquid crystal part in Malene? If you think about it, Ellen could see it too. Could it be that you can see this image? No, even if I know the outline, I can't see beyond it. That's too bad. It's obvious when you see it, but however, if you show it, you can finally witness Earth's civilization on a large scale. Malene is fascinated by Earth's civilization. Falma traced several sheets and showed Malene the scenery of Earth. I want to see this group of boxes, he said. It is a city of skyscrapers. Clouds cover the tops of the tallest buildings. I see. What happens when you go to this side? Is there a caretaker in the other world like a tomb guardian? Come on. It will be a religious question. At least I've never met him, and the people in the other world couldn't even prove it. What, Falma? You didn't understand the structure of the other world at all. Come to think of it, Falma thought. Yes, well. But there are legends and sacred relics all over the world. I don't think it's true. Falma, do you think Kara's diary is not true? No, I think it's true. I still have the actual thing. Finally, the actual thing called the diary remains. Why did you think that the legends that existed in different parts of your world were not true? Don't say things that are hard to argue against. Why do we think myths and folklore are creations? Falma simply possesses knowledge and divine power more advanced than this world, but in his brain he is a normal human on Earth, so he doesn't know if there are higher-level beings on Earth. Malene shoots a sharp jab. Malene decided by looking at Falma's eyes. I think there are. I don't think so. No, I am here. Is not here. It's not that you can't see it. I know the spirit world. Actually, you're the only one who can see the giant grave guardian you're talking about, right? Yeah, but come on. It's an unsightly place to argue like a child's fight. If I make a big statement that there is no such thing as a creator on Earth, I feel like I will be targeted by religious people from all over the world and get into serious trouble. And as Nakajima, a physicist and schoolmate of Yakutani, said, when the grand unified theory is completed, the presence of God in the space-time in which the Earth exists will be diluted and Earthlings will kill God. Then let's advance the hammer wheel and go out to the other world and ask the Creator over there if we can rent a room for a while. No, no, no. Give me a break. I can't keep up with Malene's ideas anymore. What do you think about hammer gear? It's shaped to crush people and you'll die if you just get too close to it. In fact, it has eaten many people and patron deities. I can't enter. What do you mean? Falma pointed to himself. Me? I don't want to go either. There are still many things I left behind in this world. I didn't say that. Let the dead, my spirits, go. Spirits can pass away, and spirits can convey images that my mind sees. So you are sending scout spirits to the other world. It can be. Falma decided to follow Malene's opinion. Then I would like to try it during my stay in Malene. But it's too dangerous to get too close to the gear of the hook. If the lid comes off again and something is released, I don't seem to be able to handle it. Thinking about what happened, I remember. Wait. There's another place that could be connected to another world, not through the hammer's gear. It's okay. Let's go now. Can we go now? Malene drank up the Falma's delicious water she had been served earlier and left her place. Another world that is relatively safer to enter than the cogs of the hook. In other words, it's a laboratory in another world that can be entered from the sacred spring. However, I think it would be better to prepare the equipment a little. Is there another day when we can act alone? Falma turned his gaze to the black appointment book as usual. Sorry, my schedule was full. I guess it's like that anyway. Then let's ride my picture bird. Can I paint a picture over there in the backyard of the pharmacy school? If you mess up your lawn, you'll get mad at me. There's a faster way. Falma put on Malene's own thick coat, said, it's getting cold, opened the window, quickly stuffed various things into the backpack and carried it on his back. I look under the window and around me, but there seems to be no one. I will ride you. I'm interested in the method of flight that God uses. Don't talk about me like a vehicle. When Falma reached out to escort her, Malin smiled and took her hand. Falma takes Malin's hand and fills her body with his own divine power. As a result of Pale's paradigm shift, he worked on various challenging applications of divine arts, and Falma was also inspired by this and decided to treat the human body as an object. Whether Falma is flying with a stick attached to his waist, or holding hands with Malin is completely the same topologically. When Falma said that he had a stick, he stuck to the preconceived notion that he must be riding it. The image of a witch flying on a broom was too strong. In other words, you don't have to ride the stick as long as you carry it. Also, you don't have to carry a wand as long as you have a core. I see, you made my body a part of you. You treat people like things. Just a little more, as I put it. It's kind of merciless. As she winced, Falma kicked the window and the two flew into the air. Thanks to my brother, I've learned a lot of things. Is your brother that silver-haired guy? He is a brother I can respect. He is familiar with ancient and new divine arts. After the clouds pass, the temperature drops quickly. Malin's breath catches. I'm going to speed up. It's cold, so keep up. Falma embraced Malin and merged with the divine body. Then escaped to a great height where the air was thin, while protecting Malin with a layer of air and reaching the speed of sound while avoiding air resistance. It used to take about an hour to reach the destination, but in this situation it can be reached in 10 minutes. Malin said nothing and bent over so as not to disturb Falma. The destination is a steep plateau with cliffs that keep people away, far from the imperial city. It is covered with clouds and no one can enter. Falma and Malin landed on the deserted earth. What happened? I didn't know you could fly so far in such a short time. Malin can carry it by herself. You're the kind of person people should never turn against. I was pretty much cornered by Malin, but I thought it was over when Rudaleka was taken, he said. Haha, were you impatient too? That was probably the first time Hiyori ran away. This is exciting. Malin gets a little proud. If Falma gives up his divine arts, he won't be able to do those things. It's better than the destruction of this world. And when the time comes, I will come back by plane. What I am doing now are all the things that can be achieved with the advancement of science and technology. People can even fly without going into space with divine arts. That's right. Is that so? Then it's even better if I lose it. Malin muttered to back up her determination. Falma approached the sacred spring while speculating that she should be around here. No one has ever been here but you. Malin uses magic and spirits to analyze the terrain. Do you know that? No evidence of human or animal death. Hey, that's amazing. How much training did Malin have before she became chief? Well, there were a lot of things before I became the chief. Respect. Isn't that the same for you? When I came into this world, I was given power without knowing anything. Falma, a boy who died in this world from a lightning strike, must have had a bloody education, but for Kanji Yakuya, divine power is a gift. Therefore, I will do my best to do what he wanted to do in this world. Falma walks through the land of fog looking for water without extinguishing it. After looking for a while, I found a small sacred spring in the hollow. There was. Malin, who is looking for some distance, rushes over. Is there another world at the bottom of this well? It's quite complicated. Jump into the well and freeze only the surface of the water. If you plunge your body into it from behind, you'll be in an empty space. Beyond that, the research leads to another world. There is a room. If you go to the back of this lab, there is a pitch-black window. I don't know. I have to jump into the holy spring with Falma. Then let's go with that strategy. I can't talk underwater, so I'll tell you the layout of the lab. Falma wrote a diagram in his notebook and explained it to Malin. Illustration, from Mimin. The Yakutani lab has rooms in 301 to 305 and 321 of the Pharmaceutical Research Building. The entrance from the sacred spring is only one way from the corridor to the Associate Professor's office, room 301. The other entrances that should exist on the Earth side do not exist when viewed from the sacred source side and do not open. Perhaps Maline, the being, cannot and should not enter this room. The time I can stay in this extraterrestrial laboratory is getting shorter and shorter. After a certain time, you'll be locked out of the lab. Falma opened the lab door, so I had no choice but to let her spirit break through to the other side within the time limit. In room 301, Yakuya is taking a nap on the sofa, wandering between life and death. Ignore it and head across lab 302 to incubation room 304. Outside the window visible from there is no hallway, and there is an abyss of nothingness. If there is an exit to another world, it is beyond it. Every time I go in and out, the other world gradually expands. Maybe you can go out into the corridor. I will tell Maline this information in advance. Good? Good. I want you to see what time it is on the clock and what minute it is. In the laboratory of the other world, the time repeats from 3:30 to 4:30, and the results of Kanji Kuya's life and death overlap. And because I went back and forth there a lot, the time I could spend in the lab became shorter and shorter. I want to know how many minutes are left until the time limit at 4:30. Last time it was 3:50. I can't read the clock. Tell them where the clock is and ask them to remember the two numbers on the right side of the time on the digital clock. Then I understand, Maline nodded reluctantly. Who is this man sleeping in a room in another world? That's the real me. I probably died in the place where the entrance to another world happened, so I was brought here. If I leave it alone, I will die soon, so I don't have to do anything. Falma showed the T-University ID card that had been turned into a hidden treasure. This is a picture of me when I was 30 years old, but my complexion is already bad. Now I think I'm going to die. Maline looked at her employee ID card and smiled. Don't laugh at people's faces. No, I don't. You weren't a kid, were you? It's not like you're a kid to say something logical. Are you old? It's like being quiet or philosophical. Something wasn't right, but when you think about it as an adult, it makes sense. The body of a child and the mind of an adult. It's hard to cheat, isn't it? Better than the mind of a child in an adult body. Falma and Maline took off their jackets, prepared towels and jumped into the holy spring. When Falma froze the water surface behind the holy spring with divine art, Maline tried to put her hand into the ice. However, Maline's hand was thrown onto the surface of the ice. As Maline's breath stopped underwater, Falma covered her with oxygen by creating materials. Falma reached out to pierce the ice and exited into the space on the other side. I reach out to Maline and put my palms together through another space. Maline enters Falma's body and sends a spirit to another world. The card reader at the entrance to the associate professor's office is almost broken. However, when I pressed my employee ID card, the authentication was accepted after a few seconds. With a beep, the door to the associate professor's office opens. The door to the associate professor's office is no longer wide enough for one person. One arm can barely get through. When Falma stuck his arm in the door, Maline's spirit entered another world through his arm. I try to look inside, but it's dark inside and I can't really see it. But in less than a minute the lab door closed and I was thrown out of the sacred spring. Falma's arm was almost trapped. Dangerous. I almost lost my arm. We both drifted dazedly on the surface of the sacred spring. It's foggy and you can't even see the sky. Falma's divinity has not changed since he did not enter the laboratory of another world this time. The phenomenon of the body becoming transparent does not occur. Thank you for your hard work, Maline. Let's go outside for once. Give me some time. Maline seemed to be thinking while she was sorting out the situation. Falma wakes Maline and leaves the sacred spring. We were both completely soaked with water, so we covered our heads with a towel and wiped off the moisture. I have a change of clothes. Falma was well prepared, knowing what would happen at the holy spring. Maline said she didn't need to change and dried her with a towel. Can we talk? Oh. First Maline's spirit entered the lab and checked the clock. The clock pointed to 12. It's a digital clock, so it's only 4:12. At least it's more advanced than when I arrived. Next, Maline's ghost confirmed the sofa where Kanji Yakuya, as Falma had said, was sleeping, but no one was there. I was suspicious, but as I passed room 301, past room 302, and was about to go through room 303, the door of room 303 opened from the outside and someone entered. And then they said he was hit by the same divine art that Falma, Ellen and Pal use. Huh? You shouldn't be able to use divine arts in this room. The spirit of Maline had a slender body like a tadpole, so the part in room 303 was damaged but the part in room 302 was safe. It is said that when the ghost fled back to room 301, someone from room 303 followed it. The ghost tried to determine his true identity, but it was vague. I can't say for sure, but it was you. The person on this card killed the ghost. I from the original world, Kanji Yakuya, can't use divine arts. Also, I don't have a divine staff and I can't use divine techniques. It is impossible. I didn't have a staff but I had a small black stick. I took it out of my left chest, held it up and fired divine arts from the tip. Are you talking about the pen you took out of your breast pocket? That's just a writing utensil, isn't it? It's not a sacred staff. Do you know if I'm telling you? Maline scowled. From her point of view, an important spirit had been hit. But I guess I can't be angry. That's right, I'm sorry. Did you use divine arts in the process? Was it me? He said something to me, but I couldn't translate the words. Is it really me? Do you want to come over and look at it again? No, even if I put it in, I don't think I can put more than one finger in it. If I really can't put it in, I'll get in trouble, so I better save it for each other times. Who's on the other side? Surely Falma himself witnessed the existence of Kanji Yakuya, who had survived a heart attack and returned to his original world only once, in a laboratory in another world. Could it be him? Due to the effect of surviving. If someone who purified Maline's spirit was a user of divine arts in this world, she realized that Maline's spirit would leave Tokyo as an invasion, and recognized him as an evil spirit. Who was it that opened the door of the analysis room from the other world? The Tokyo side entered, recognized the spirit and used the purification magic. Is the world changing on the other side? I need to check the information on the internet. If anything changes, there should be an update. Falma didn't know what Yakuya was thinking on the other side anymore and if it was really Yakuya. But it turned out to be bad for this side of the world. I just swallowed it. If you and I, who can see me, met in a laboratory in another world, what would happen? It could have been instant death. I came up with such a possibility. Oh my God. Is it me who is waiting outside the other world?